Hi, it's Jeff Ondash, and welcome to another episode of Business as Usual. And today I am here in probably one of the most beautiful, not probably, but the most beautiful and newest dealership in this whole valley. John Kufleitner's Chrysler Dodge Jeep here. This is an incredible place, and I'm here with the man behind it, Mr. Kufleitner. John, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, thank you.
All right, so let's start talking here. How in the world does one start and decide that when they're a kid they want to be a car dealer? How did you get into this business years ago?
You know, it's kind of crazy. I just kind of fell into it. I come from a family that loves cars. So, some families talk about sports, at night around the dinner table. We talked about cars. Now, although growing up, I played a sport for every season, but we were just car people. And my mom loved cars. My dad loved cars, and we were hot rodders, that's pretty much how it started for all of us.
Okay, so back to the old high school days. Did you have a plan like you're going to go to college, or did you have a plan that I'm going to go and I'm going to do what I love and get into the car business?
No, actually, the car business was never in my plan. I wanted to be a junk dealer. I wanted to own junkyards.
Johnny Sanford, huh?
Yeah, I really did. I wanted to own junkyards, and as a matter of fact, I gave myself a job at one of the local junkyards back home. I would just tell my mom, I work there, so she would drop me off on Saturdays. So every Saturday, I'd just hang out at the junkyard, and so finally, after hanging out half the summer, the guy that owned the place says, "Well, if you're going to be here, you might as well work, and you might as well get paid." So that's pretty much how it started for me. But outside of that, I was a shipbuilder.
Big shipbuilder.
Big shipbuilder. I was a civilian, but I worked for the government, and we built ships. I was a journeyman machinist, outside machinist. An inside machinist makes the part, an outside machinist installs it. So I served my apprenticeship at Norfolk Shipbuilding. If you're a Yankee, it's Norfolk, and if you're from the South, it's Norfolk. So.
And then you came back here.
And I came back here. My family's from here. My family has been in Salem for like 112 years. I mean, literally 112 years. So I met my wife on vacation in Virginia Beach, so I chased her back up here. And I've been here now. I don't tell people I'm home's not Virginia anymore because I've been here longer than I was in Virginia. So.
All right. So now, is that when you directly got into the car business?
Yeah, 1991 actually. So.
Where was that at?
Greenwood Chevrolet. That's where I cut my teeth in the car business. And I was lucky. I went to work for a great dealer who believed in training, and we were the most highly trained people around. We knew the product, we knew the processes, and that's what pretty much led me down the path to become a car dealer.
So after working there, how long did you work there for, Bud?
I started in 1991. I sold cars for 6 months. And Mr. Greenwood just walked up to me one day and said, someday you're going to be a car dealer and you're going to be a good one. So a couple weeks later, I got called in the office and they said, you can't sell cars anymore. I thought, well, I'm pretty good at it. They said, nah, you're going to be a manager. So then I went from Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown to Greenwood in Cortland. And I was living in Salem, so I was commuting from Salem to Cortland every day. A little bit. I was opening and closing, and I really miss Greenwood Chevrolet. I just love that store. I love the people. To this day, it's probably still my favorite dealership ever. I'm even including the ones I own. I worked out there for 4 or 5 months, and then I really wasn't happy. I missed Greenwood Chevrolet. So I came back to Austintown for 3 months and set a few sales records. And so I got called in the office again. They're like, yeah, you can't sell cars. You're going to have to do something else. So I became a general manager of their Nissan store. And I ran that for a year and a half, 2 years. And
it was out here on Market Street, right?
It was on Market Street. And then one day, Mr. Greenwood put me in the car. We went around. He said, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to buy this dealership. We're going to acquire this franchise, and then we're going to move it from Canfield to Boardman, which was Market Motor Company. That was 1993. So I was there from 93 to 98. In 1998, I went back and bought the Nissan dealership from the Greenwoods. So that was my first dealership we bought in 1998.
Okay, and then from there it just progressed into Chrysler, and then you went down to Salem or Columbiana, I should say.
Yeah, no, actually Salem first. So we, I love the Chrysler product, the Jeeps, obviously. Who doesn't love a Jeep? So I chased that dealership in Salem. That was the one I wanted. So my first phone call, I called Tom Patterson. I said, hey, Tom, I'd like to get together and have breakfast or lunch with you. And he goes, well, sure, what's on your mind? I said, well, I want to buy your dealership. And he's like, my dealership will never be for sale, never. I said, okay. So 20 years later, I called him again, and he says, yeah, why don't we have breakfast tomorrow? So yeah, so we got together in one meeting, and pretty much bought it on a napkin. We wrote all everything that we agreed to out on a napkin, and we shook hands that afternoon, and it was pretty much done. So we acquired Salem in 2005, and then we acquired Columbiana in 2006, and then that's what brought us to Boardman.
And that's what brought us to this. This is just so beautiful here. And the process to build this, how long of a process was it?
Oh, it was a couple years. It was a couple years. Yeah, it took a lot of time to acquire the land. We had, it's 28 acres here.
People don't notice when they drive by, they see the enormous front where all your inventory is, but they don't know how deep it really goes. I mean, if you ever want to come by and drive through, just take a little spin around the backside and see how deep that is back there. There's a ton of property back there.
Yeah, and we actually own, if you put it in perspective, Donnell Ford's like 7.5 acres. We own almost 7 acres behind them.
Wow.
So, and there's about another 4 or 5 behind the dealership here. That we don't use at all. It's still, just like overgrown with, like grass or something.
So you made it here, and of course, this is something that not only now is for the Mahoning Valley, but this store is so big and so huge and so beautiful, and the volume that you do business pretty much in a wide area around here. People come from all over to buy from your places now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We so May we will be in business here in Boardman 3 years, and in 36 months we've been the number one Cleveland outstate dealer, maybe 32 months out of the 30, which will be the 36, out of 36 months. So it's this store hit the ground running. But Boardman was always, first of all, Boardman's a great car market, right? Youngstown's a great car market, but it was always a good Chrysler market as well. So.
All right. And now you own the store in Columbiana, you own this store here, but you also own a little place in Salem, and it houses some of the most beautiful vintage cars that you'll ever see. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's our fun store. we don't make any money there, but it's fun. So we have it's John Kufleitner's Galleria of vintage, classic, and pristine cars, and we not only we sell them there, we restore them there as well. So we have a restoration shop. We have a 20,000, actually out there we have 90,000 square feet under roof. We have the big showroom is 20,000 square feet, and we have the restoration shop behind, and of course we have Just Like New Auto Collision Repair. I built that body shop. It's a public, it's open to the public for, like collision, but really I built that body shop just for the classic cars. So like I said, we don't make any money there, but it's fun. We have a lot of fun there.
All right, so owning a business, everybody at some point in their life, even if they work for somebody, always has an aspiration to think about it. What advice would you give to somebody? I mean, the businesses that you own are on a very, very large scale, but what would the advice that you would give to somebody who might be thinking about getting into owning their own business or starting their own business or service?
You have to be totally committed. You can't dip your toe. You can't be half pregnant. Once you commit to be in it, you have to be in it. You have to get up early and go to work, and you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. I often say people that don't make it, sometimes some markets crash and you just can't recover. The deep end is too deep to swim in. But in most cases I see where people just give up, and they weren't willing to do what it took to be successful. So whatever you do, if you make up your mind you're going to be in business, you need to be committed, and you need to be the janitor. You need to be the CEO. You've got to do everything in between.
Kind of like starting from the junkyard and working your way on up.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd still like to be in the junk business, but my wife won't go for it. So she says I can be a junk dealer. I can own junkyards. She says I have to do it in my next life with my next wife. So I'm not going to be a dealer, a junk dealer.
So now that you have 3 dealerships here, let's go back one little step here. I want to talk about the whole industry is changing as we speak, and it's going in. A lot of it's evolving in EVs. We're not going to get into that, but not only the car industry, but a lot of, well, the world got hit with COVID hit. How badly did that hurt you, and what was the main thing that you did to keep going and get through that and work through that? Especially when you have such a big overhead, you need to continue to, to feed that. And COVID hurt everybody. So what was your secret to getting it through it?
Well, what really hurt us, the governor shut down commerce 3 days before we were going to open the new store. So I had 40 people hired that were supposed to start in 3 days. And, they were calling, well, what am I going to do? I've quit my job. I said, well, I guess you just stay home and get paid. So luckily for us, we were good stewards of our money. We were able to, all these years. I mean, I don't own an airplane or anything like that. I don't have a yacht, but I have a small boat. But we were pretty smart with saving our money, and the rainy day, we saved it for a rainy day, and when it came, we were okay. We were able to survive it.
There was a thunderstorm that came through.
Oh.
And the smart and the strong really survived through that. And in this valley, we're so resilient. And we have such a great work ethic in this valley. And that's why I think a lot of the people, that got hurt in other markets, we weathered the storm here.
Yeah, we had over 120 employees. No one got laid off. Nobody collected unemployment. I paid everybody whatever their weekly salary would have been. That's what they got paid. But we thought it was only going to be for a couple of weeks. It ended up lasting 6 weeks. We got through. We lost a lot of money. Almost $800,000 in 3 months. But luckily for us, we qualified for a lot of government PPP money, and we did what we were supposed to do with it. And that was,
Keep the employees going.
Keep the employees going. Yeah. So they were, we were loyal to them, and they've been very loyal to us as well. So it really paid off for all of us. I mean, and we were able to get through, and then, we got through COVID, and we got strong, and we got stronger yet, and we just took off. We just took off, and we didn't run scared. So when other guys were passing on their inventory, we loaded up. I mean, we were taking anything and everything we could get, and it really played well for us.
Okay, ABC question: what's more important? A, taking care of your employees and having good employees. B, taking care of the customer, treating the customer, and keeping them satisfied. Or C, A and B combined there.
Oh, it's absolutely C. I mean, first of all, yeah, you've got to be good to your customers, and you've got to be good to your employees. In the real world, customer isn't always right, okay? But we don't always live in the real world, right? So we do everything we can to keep everybody happy on both sides. We take care of our customers, and we take care of our employees. I mean, and in turn, they're good to us. They give us, both A and B give us me, C. They give me my living. They give me my lifestyle, right? And it's a good scenario for all of us.
Where do you see the car industry going from here? Because all we hear about now are electric vehicles, and some of the major manufacturers, GM, Ford, Chrysler, are talking about that's all they want to be. They don't want to be carbon-based anymore. They want to get rid of all the gas combustible engines. So where do you see? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that we're heading that way, or do you think there's going to be a pullback on that?
I think electric cars are stupid. I mean, to be honest with you, when you look at the carbon footprint of what it takes to produce these batteries, or if you look at a Chevy Volt or Chevy Bolt, and in 6 years needs a $12,000 battery. Are you kidding me? Or a $20,000 battery? It's not going to stick. It's not going to stick, in my opinion. I think the hybrids will stick. But a full-blown electric car, I don't think they're going to stick around. And even when you look at Tesla, I don't think Tesla, if you took away their clean energy credits that they sell to GM, Ford, and Stellantis, I would say if you took those away, they wouldn't be profitable.
They're borderline now as it is.
They're borderline as it is, right?
You know how figures lie and liars figure when it comes to bookkeeping. So we don't. The true test of that's probably 10 years away. So I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. Hybrids, yeah, there's a great need for those, and it's a good viable opportunity to put those into more car dealerships. I really do. But as far as making everything electric, I just don't think that's good. I'm older though, so I'm old school that way. So where's John Kufleitner going from here? You've got 3 dealerships now. Do you have a want or a need to get another one to grow bigger, or are you happy where you're at?
Yeah, I'm done. We have plenty. We don't need any more. We figured it out. We only need some of the money. We don't need it all. And my life's changing. We've had last year was a was a crazy year for our family. But we had a couple rough patches, but we got through them. We're content where we are. My wife just opened a new business in Columbiana, and she's having a lot of fun.
And what's that? What's she doing?
It's called Living Lux Designs. They do home furnishing, real high-end, nice home furnishings, and interior design, and they're just having so much fun. It's on we own the Columbiana Theater on the Circle, so the business she has like 32 or 3,500 square feet on top of the theater. And they just have some of the neatest things. I can't go there because every time I go there, I'm like, don't sell that, keep that, I want that. So, but she's having a great time, and she has a great business partner, and right now they're just loving life. So,
You look like you're loving life too.
yeah, things are pretty good. Things are pretty good for me. So.
And employee-wise, when a lot of people are out there trying to struggle for employees, that hasn't been a problem for you.
No, it really hasn't. I mean, like I said, we have very little turnover. The last year we've had a little because, a little more than we've ever had in my whole career, actually. Only because, people are just doing different things. And it's the whole market is just a little upside down. And, it'll find its balance, it'll find its level.
In the next year or so.
Yeah, for sure.
One last one before I let you go. Why is locally owned so important when it comes to doing business if you're a consumer out there? Why is locally owned so important for that consumer to choose a locally owned business?
It's because it's crystal clear. I mean, we're the people that reinvest in our community. We reinvest in our people, our children, right? We're involved in every charity on the planet. 4-H, high school football, cheerleading, ladies softball, ladies volleyball, United Way. I mean, you name it. The Salvation Army. I mean, we're the people. Not just me. It's all the good local, strong, locally owned businesses. Because the national conglomerates, they just don't care. I mean, I'm not saying that to be mean or selfish or anything like that. I mean, they have so much going on around the country or the world that they just don't get involved in the deep roots of the community. So I think that's it. I mean, it's pretty clear.
So buy local. That's what we're all about here. And this is a great local guy who really, really does. What he just mentioned was probably a dozen charities that he's involved with here locally, but gives so much more back to the community. The people that he hires here are all local, and that money stays in the community. And that's why buying local is so very, very important. It's our valley, and nobody's going to take care of it but us. And one of the ways we take care of it is by supporting people like John and his dealership and other locally owned people and their businesses. John, you have done a fantastic job here. You've created a great lifetime. You've been a success, and hopefully if you're thinking of owning a business out there, could somebody give you a call and maybe ask you some questions?
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, you heard it here. Give Johnny a call. And if you're looking for a Jeep or a Chrysler or a Ram truck, boy, this is the place to go. Your inventory out front is phenomenal. You're back to normal now.
Yeah, we're pretty much back to normal, yeah.
All right.
Thanks
Well,
so much.
that's going to do it for this edition of Business as Usual. John, thanks again, man. Yeah. You take care, and good luck to you in the future. And we're going to see you again real soon with another edition of Business as Usual. You take care.